Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome everybody to today's class. Jazakumullah to all of you for arriving on time. We are going to begin today with our daily dua. So if our Assalamu alaikum discipline in charge, could we please have our first student for today?
Walaikum salam. Yes, G2725, please.
2725.
G275. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is that G2725?
Yes.
Excellent. How are you today?
I'm good. What about you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Okay, are you ready for today's prayer?
Yes.
Excellent. So we're going to start from Tawud. I'll recite and then you recite after me.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Beautiful. And the translation?
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Beautiful. And the translation?
In the name of Allah, the Gracious, the Merciful.
Well done. Today is Wednesday, so we have our Wednesday prayer. Rabbi allimni ma huwa khayrun indak.
Rabbi allimni ma huwa khayrun indak.
Very good. And the translation?
O my lords, teach me what is best for me in your knowledge.
Jazakumullah asna, Jaza G2725.
And
thank you so much for your help. G?
Can my brother read in the practice text?
We will have to ask the discipline in charge. What is his number?
G2726.
G2726, discipline in charge. Is that okay for him to be?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, we will call him back when we're about to start. Okay. Jazakumullah. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, excellent. So a quick reminder, mashallah, we have covered over half the term now. So I'm sure that this is just automatic for all of you, but it's always good to be reminded. So I hope you're all in wudu and you have your clean clothes with your head covered. You are sitting in a quiet place without extra noise, and you should have a parent or somebody elder present. And if you have not used your correct ID to sign in, please use the rename function and make sure you have your correct ID. If you don't, you will not be called to the mic and you may find yourself back in the waiting room. Okay, so in today's class, as per usual, we have our class schedule. So for today's lesson, we are going to be looking at something new, which is rules of waqf, which I will explain in a moment, and we'll be going over rules 1 till 3. Okay, we will then be continuing with our practice text, which is Surah Al-Baqarah, chapter 2, and we'll be covering the next few verses of that. We'll be looking at our QRS 2, and that will be part 8 of the Holy Quran, and we'll look in more detail at part 8 today. We'll be continuing with our practice text, and we will have our homework, announcements, and closing dua to finish off our lesson, inshallah. Okay, so the first thing we are going to be doing, because we've already had our announcements and our opening dua, we will be looking at our rule in focus, which today is rules of waqf. Now, if you have Talimul-Quran, this is lesson number 21. So if you have Talimul-Quran, this is lesson number 21 that we'll be covering today. So let's move on to that. So rules of waqf. Move this up a little bit so you can see it. And move this out of the way. Okay, so waqf means to stop or pause. So the meaning of the word waqf is to stop or pause. Okay, just a second, let me get my highlighter. Right. During the recitation, pausing at the end of a meaningful sentence or verse with a break of breath is called waqf. So whenever you are having a recitation of the Holy Quran, when you need to take a breath and take another breath in, you have to stop in the correct way. So you have to do a waqf. That means you have to make a pause. And there are certain rules as to how you will pause, which we're going to cover in today's lesson. So the correct way of pausing at various types of Quranic words is explained below. Now, as you can see, if I just quickly show you, there are quite a few rules regarding how to make a stop at a particular point. Just here we have up to 22 here. So we're going to be taking it slowly. We're just going to be doing a few at a time, just so that you get the hang of it and you start to understand why we make a pause when we're reading the Quran in certain ways. Okay, so these are the three we're going to be covering today. Rule number 1, rule number 2, and rule number 3. So if within a word, you have a fatha as your last stroke, and you need to make a waqf, you need to pause on that word, you need to take a breath, it's the end of an ayat and you need to stop, you will turn that fatha into a sukoon, right? So, for example, here we have dhalika. This is the word, when you are in continuation, when you are doing your recitation, this is how you pronounce it, dhalika. But if you have to make a pause, you will pronounce it like this, dhalik. So your fatha has turned into a sukoon and you make a stop there, right? Next one, kasra. If you have a kasra at the end of your word, that will also change into a sukoon, okay? That will also change into a sukoon. So simple single second, single stroke beat, single beat fatha, that will change into a sukoon. If it's a single kasra, that will also change into a sukoon. So in this case, in this word, we have yawmi. Okay, that is how you would pronounce the word in continuation if you are reciting a whole verse. But if it comes at the end of the verse, or if you need to take a breath in the middle of the verse because you've run out of breath, then the way you will pronounce it is like this. Yawm. So you have to turn it into a sukoon, Now you already have a sukoon here on the waw, so you're also already joining those two letters there, but you need to make sure you join the waw and the mim. Okay? And then here, our third rule for today, you have a dhamma. Dhamma, single stroke, simple dhamma, is also changed into a sukoon when you are doing a waqf. So for example, here we have na'budu. Okay, in continuation, that is how you pronounce the word. However, if you have to make a stop there, if there's an end of ayat, or there's a break, or you run out of breath, you need to say it like this. Na'bud. Okay, so let me just show you in our verse for today that we have. If we have a look at this, and we can imagine what it would, how we would say that. 1 second, let me just move this over here. So, for example, in this verse here, where we have the end of ayat here, okay, we are ending with a fatha, right? So, normally we would recite this as buna, right? But because we are going to make a stop here, because it's the end of an ayat, so we will recite this as boon. And we will put a sukoon on the noon here. Okay? If, for example, we have, let's say, where else do we see a stop? Here. So this, at this point where there's this little tiny ta, we have a hamza with a dhamma on the top here, right? So if we were not going to have a stop here, how would we pronounce this? I'm going to recite from here, okay? Ma nassufaha ما نص السفهاء. But because we are going to make a pause here, we will recite this. ما نص السفهاء. Now, if you remember, if there is a sukoon on a hamza, okay, so this dhamma here will turn into a sukoon, you have to make a soft jerk sound, very soft jerk sound, okay? ما نص السفهاء, to do a stop, okay? If, for example, if you were going to stop here, we're not going to, but if you're going to stop here, okay, how would we do it, right? This is a simple kasra. So that means that in order to stop, we need to turn this into a sukoon, right? So let me recite it first, how we would recite it in continuation. We would say, I'll start from here. Fil ardi, fil ardi. Right? But if we are going to make a stop here, we would say, fil ard, fil ard. Okay, because it turns into a sukoon, right? So, simple, fatha, kasra, or dhamma. If you have to make a waqf and you have to stop and take a breath, each of these strokes turns into a sukoon, and you pronounce the word as though there is a sukoon here instead of the fatha, the kasra, or the dhamma. Right? So in today's lesson, we're going to be practicing that to make sure that you really understand that well. Okay, so rules 1 to 3 you have completed, alhamdulillah, and we are going to practice when we do our practice text. So again today we are looking at Surah Al-Baqarah, and we are going to be covering verses 11 to 14, inshallah. Right? So if we can have our first student, please.
Yes, could we have G2654, please? G2654.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I am very well. Did you understand the rules of waqf, okay?
Yes.
Excellent,
yeah.
good. Excellent, good. So if you have, for example, if you have to make a stop, let me find somewhere. Here, if you had to make a stop here, what would this fatha turn into?
A
Sukoon, well done, excellent. Because it's a simple fatha, it's a simple fatha. So if you were going to stop your word here, you would have to turn this fatha into a sukoon. Well done. Okay, if you were going to make a stop, let me see. I have to find something now. Okay, if you were going to make a stop here, right, what would this dhamma turn into?
A sukoon.
Excellent. So you would just turn this into a sukoon because you have to make a stop, right? And if you were going to make a stop, where else can I make a stop? Here, what would this kasra turn into?
A sukoon.
A sukoon. Well done. Excellent. So whenever you have a simple fatha, a kasra, or a dhamma, it turns into a sukoon when you need to do a waqf for a stop. Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to recite. If we start with tawuz and tasmiyah, and then I will recite, and then you will start recite afterwards. Okay?
Okay.
To start with tawuz and tasmiyah. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Beautiful, well done. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون. Okay, off you go. Read where you can, and then we'll break it down if we need to. Okay.
في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون.
Beautiful recitation, really, really good effort. Well done. Lovely tune, mashallah. Really nice tune to your voice. Well done. So there's a couple of things that we need to just, when you are reciting in flow, you need to be really, really careful with. And one is your elongation. Okay, so here it was a little bit short. You needed to elongate this a little bit. And there were a couple of other places where you just need to focus and just make sure that when you're reciting in flow, because that's when we get the most confused, because we have got so many things to think about, right? So let's try it again. Let's just do it all the way to this point here, okay? So I'm going to recite and then you recite afterwards, okay? في قلوبهم مرض
في قلوبهم مرض.
Very good. Well done. Excellent. Once more. And you held on your mim guna there really nicely. So remember when you have to make your nasal sound, when there's a mim with a shadda on top, which is called a mim guna, you did that really well. Okay. Make sure you elongate, make sure you make your nasal sound here as well. Right? So, fi qulubihim maradun.
في قلوبهم مرض.
Very good. Well done. Let's continue from here. فزادهم الله مرضا.
فزادهم الله مرضا.
Very good. Well done. Now, I'm making a stop here. That's why I changed that. And you will learn about this rule as well. Okay. It can also be recited the way that you recited it the first time, right? Which was فَزَادَهُمُ اللَّهُ مَرَضًا.
فزادهم الله مرضا.
Very good. If you recite it like that, then you need to continue with the same breath to read the next part as well. Okay, so that's just for your knowledge so that you know. Okay, let's start from here. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ.
وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ.
Very good effort. How many seconds are we going to pronounce this for?
1
second. Good. Do you want to have another go?
وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ.
Good. Well done. Now remember, if there's a little meme here, when you are saying this, you will make a nasal sound with the meme, okay, instead of the nasal sound of noon. So mum. Okay. Very good. Now I'm going to recite this, and then I will continue to recite the second part. Okay. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ. Want to have a go?
وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ.
Really good effort. Well done. Okay, another point here. What is this called? Can you tell me? What letter is this? Kaf. Good. Well done. Excellent. What is this letter joined to the kaf here?
An alif.
Very good. It's an alif. It's a blank alif. Okay, and the letter before it has a fatha on it. Do you remember what that means?
I forgot.
Okay, it means it's an alif madda. So it means this kaf needs to be elongated for 2 seconds, just like this alif madda here, where you elongated the meme for 2 seconds. You also have to elongate the kaf for 2 seconds. Okay, just start from the ba here and just recite till the end verse.
بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ.
Very good, beautiful. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Do you want to recite from here again?
Okay. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْسِبُونَ.
Beautiful, very good, G265. Really, really lovely melody in your recitation. Really good. Keep an eye on your elongated letters.
Yes.
And I know when you're reading long verses like this, it can sometimes feel overbearing and overwhelming that you have to make so many elongated sounds. But just keep an eye on your elongated letters because that changes the meaning of the words if you don't pronounce that properly. Okay, break down the sections if you need to, break it into small parts like we did, practice that and then put it all together again. Okay, Jazakumullah, thank you so much for your help. Allah Hafiz. Could we please have our next student?
Yes, G2586.
Assalamu alaikum, G2586. G2586, Assalamu alaikum, can you hear me?
You can go to the next student, G2726, please.
G2726.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. Are you understanding everything okay?
Yes.
You understanding the rules of Waqf okay?
Yes.
Excellent, good. So if we start with Dawud and Tasmiyah, I will recite the verse, the next verse, which is from here to here. Okay, and then you will recite after me. So start first with Dawud and Tasmiyah, please.
Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Beautiful, well done. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون. Okay, so it's quite a long verse. Would you like to do it all at the same time or would you like to break it up and do it in parts?
I want to do it all at the same time.
Off you go then, off you go.
وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Beautiful recitation, G2726. Your elongation was really good and you made sure that you were focusing on where you needed to elongate and you made sure that all of the sounds were pronounced really well. You joined really well. I could hear all your letters when you were joining, especially over here. Sometimes this is difficult because people, you don't necessarily hear the ha sound properly. So you pronounced it really well over there as well. We're going to do it again. We're going to break it into sections this time and we're going to do it again. But it was really good first time round as well, mashallah. Okay, so let's break it down. Let's start from the beginning, from the wa. I'm going to start from here. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
Very good. لَا تُفْسِدُوا.
لَا تُفْسِدُوا.
فِي الْأَرْضِ.
فِي الْأَرْضِ.
Very good. Now let's do that all together from the waw.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لَا تُفْسِدُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ.
Very good. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ. So make sure that you say both of those sounds separately. Once more.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ لا تفسدوا في الأرض.
Very good. Well done. Let's continue. So I'm going to continue from here to the end and then you can recite. قالوا إنما نحن muslihun.
قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Very good. Well done. Now, can you remember what this is?
It's a noon.
Excellent. Well done. It's a noon with a shad on top. Do you remember what that's called?
مضموم.
It's called, it's a noon gunna. Noon gunna. What that means is you need to hold on that sound for about 2 seconds and make a nasal sound. Okay, so we would say inna. And where you feel, what you feel is the air in your nose pipe. You can actually feel the air in your nose when you're saying the sound. Innama.
إنما.
Good. Sometimes it helps to kind of crinkle up your nose a little bit, because then you can actually make sure that you're saying the sound really well. Innama.
إنما.
Beautiful. Well done. So whenever you're joining to a noon with a shadda on the top or a meme, we had a meme a moment ago. Can't find it now. With a shadda on the top. Oh, here it was. With a shadda on the top, you have to make that nasal sound. You have to hold on the sound for 2 seconds and make a nasal sound. Okay, so let's try it again from the qaf. From here.
Okay.
Off you go. Yeah, it's just for you.
ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون.
Very good. Hang on a second. From here, sorry, I wanted you to recite from here.
Oh.
Yeah.
قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Very good. Well done. How many seconds? Do you remember how many seconds we recite this for?
45 seconds.
This is 3 to 5 seconds. Yeah. So just try it once more and just make sure you recite this sound. So this is lu for at least 3 seconds. Okay.
Okay.
Try it again.
قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Beautiful. Really, really good recitation. G2726. Really nice. You were elongating really well. You were correcting really well. When I told you what you needed to correct, you did that really well. Your noon guna was really good at the end as well, mashallah. Keep practicing, keep breaking it down, and take a really, really nice deep breath when you start your verse. And that will really help you to recite as much of the verse within one breath as you possibly can. Okay? Jazakumullah, thank you so much for your help. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Could we have our next student, please?
G2573.
G2573.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
Fine, alhamdulillah. How are you?
I'm very well, alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah for asking. Are you understanding everything okay today?
Yeah.
Excellent, good. So we're going to start here at this verse here, and we're going to recite to this verse here. If you start with Dawud and Tasmiyah, then I will recite the verse, and then you will recite after me. Off you go.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Very good, well done. ألا إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون.
إنهم هم المفسدون ولكن لا يشعرون.
Really good effort, mashallah. Well done. Really, really good effort. Okay, so this rule, if you look carefully, what we need to do is, because there is a lam here with the shadda on top, okay, you need to ignore the noon sound here, and you will join your kaf directly to your lam. Okay, the kaf will join directly to the lam here. Okay, so the way we pronounce this is la killa. Have a go.
La killa.
Good. So you don't make a noon sound here at all. Okay, in this case, right? Let's do it once more. I'm going to break it down a little bit. We're going to do a little bit at a time, and then we'll put it all together, inshallah. Right? So I am going to recite up to here, right? And then you will recite afterwards. Ala innahum humul mufsiduna.
Ala innahum humul mufsidun.
Very good effort. Well done. How long are we going to recite this sound for?
5 counts.
It can go up to 5. It's from about 3 to 5 seconds. You have to elongate this. Okay. Do you remember what this is called? Noon something?
Noon sakin.
Noon gunna. Noon gunna. It's a noon with a shadda on the top, which makes it a noon gunna. So we have to hold the sound and make a nasal sound for about 2 seconds, right? So just listen when I'm saying it, and then you have a go. Inna.
Inna.
Good. So you should have some air in your nasal pipe when you're saying this. You can scrunch up your nose a little bit to really try and feel where the sound is coming from. Inna.
Inna.
Very good. Innahum.
Innahum.
Good. So you have to make that sound for about 2 seconds, right? So we have 3 seconds here and 2 seconds here, right? So let me recite it once more and then you have a go. Ala innahum humul mufsiduna.
Ala innahumul humul mufsiduna.
Okay, once more. Make sure you recite this for 3 seconds. La. Okay.
Ala innahu humul.
Innahum. This is hum.
Innahum humul mufsiduna.
Very good. Let's start from here now. Walakin la yash'urun.
Walakin la yash'arun.
Yash'urun.
Yash'arun.
Okay. This is a dhamma, so you have to make all sound. All. Okay, once more. Yash'urun.
Yash'arun.
Yash'urun. Hello? G2573? Discipline in charge, can you hear me?
Yes, I've just tried to unmute them again.
Yash'arun.
Good effort. So,
Yash'urun.
very good. Well done. Yash'urun. Excellent. So that was really lovely. You had a really nice tune, mashallah. Your elongation was really good. So you just need to make sure to remember when you have your extended elongation, okay? And make sure you focus on your nasal sound, your noon gunna as well there. Break it down, read it in small parts, and then put it back together again. Okay, Jazakumullah, thank you so much for your help. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Okay, excellent. Really, really good recitation, mashallah. And this is what it's all about. You just have to keep on practicing the rules that we have covered so far whenever you are reading. So it builds up your practice, it builds up your fluency, it builds up your confidence. So make sure that you keep practicing all of the rules that we've covered so far in your daily tilawat, because then when we're listening to you, we'll really recognize that you remember this rule and you remember this rule. And your recitation will become easier for you, because when you follow the rules of recitation, it makes the recitation so much easier to do. Okay, so we are going to look now at our QRS2. So here, if you remember, these are our parts of the Holy Quran. Okay, if you remember, there are 30 parts within the Holy Quran. Okay, 30 parts within the Holy Quran. And each part begins with certain words. So we are on part 8 today. And we are beginning part 8. If you look here, we can see Al-Anam, which is chapter 6, verse 112. And the words that it begins with are walau annana. Right? If we have a look at our Quran Majid, here you can see it is open. One second, let me open it. And you can see that I have put in chapter 6 here, verse 112 here, and you can see it's written over here very clearly, part 8, and you can see the words here, walau annana, right? So you can recognize this is where part 8 begins, right? If we go back, just a second, if we go back here, we can see part 8 goes all the way up to Al-Araf, which is chapter 7, verse 88. So if we were to go back to our Holy Quran, and we put in here 7, verse 88, and let's see what happens. We go to 88, and we can see that that is the last verse of this particular part, and then you go on to part 9 after that. Okay, so if you need to find the part, you can literally just type in the chapter and the verse, and you can go straight to the end of the part, or the beginning of the part, whichever way around you want to look at it. Right? So that's part 8 today, which you have covered. Okay, Al-Anam, chapter 6, verse 112 to Al-Araf, chapter 7, verse 88. And the name of the part, or the words that the part begins with, are walau annana. Some of you may have seen the separate parts of the Holy Quran as separate sections, maybe in your split word translation, or in order to help some students read, they like to have the separate parts. And there you will notice they will always have the first word written on them so that you recognize the part there. Right? Okay, excellent. So we're going to continue with our surah practice. If we could have our next student, please.
G2601.
G2601. Assalamu alaikum. G2601, can you hear me?
I'll choose another student. G26.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Is that G2601?
Yes,
Excellent. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. Jazakumullah for asking. So are you understanding the rules of Waqf okay?
Yeah.
Excellent. So if you start with Tawuz and Tasmiyah, then I will recite and then you will recite after me. So off you go.
Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim.
Beautiful, well done. So I am, just for your information, I am going to make a pause here, right, where there is this bar.
Okay.
Now, can you remember what I need to do in order to make a pause here? What would this Dhamma turn into?
You will you won't pronounce the
Dhamma.
yeah.
Excellent, good. I won't pronounce the Dhamma. I will make it turn into a
Sukoon.
Very good. I'll make it turn into a sukoon, right? Because I'm going to make a stop here,
Yeah.
right? Okay, good. Well done. So I will make a stop here and then I will begin again from the alif here. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا كما آمن الناس قالوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء ألا إنهم هم السفهاء ولكن لا يعلمون. Okay, so not going to do the whole. We're not going to do the whole thing together. We're going to recite to here first, and then we'll do the second. Okay, off you go.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ آمِنُوا كَمَا آمَنَ النَّاسُ قَالُوا أنؤمن كما آمن السفهاء.
Very good, excellent, really good recitation, mashallah. G2601, really good, well done. You stopped, you slowed yourself down when you got a little bit confused here. You made sure you stopped and you made sure you corrected it, and then you continued. So that was really good, and that's what we need to do whenever we make we're a little bit confused. We need to slow down, we need to make our corrections, and then we start again. Okay, so that was really good. We're going to break it down a little bit. Okay, we're going to break it down a little bit so that you can recite smaller sections, and then we'll put it all together. So وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
Good, well done. Now, this, remember, is qaf. That means it's a thick sound. So could you do that one again?
وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
Okay, so qaf, okay, you have to make your mouth into a round shape, and you have to make a serious sound. So very good. قِيلَ لَهُمْ. Once more.
قِيلَ لَهُمْ.
Very good, well done. آمنوا.
آمنوا.
وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا.
وإذا قيل لهم آمنوا.
Very good. Make sure this is
آمنوا.
Very good. Well done. Let's continue, and then we'll put them all together in a moment. كما آمن الناس.
كما آمن الناس.
قالوا. Sorry, are you starting?
آمنوا.
آمن الناس.
آمن الناس.
Great. Do you remember what this is called?
Shadda.
It's a shadda on top of a noon. So this makes this a noon what? Do you remember?
Mushaddad.
Noon, mushadda, noon gunna. Noon gunna. Okay. So it means you need to hold on the sound and make a nasal sound for about 2 seconds. So you can squeeze up your nose a little bit if you need to, just to really make sure you're making a nasal sound. So آمن الناس.
آمن الناس.
Very good. قالوا أنؤمن.
قالوا أنؤمن.
كما آمن السفهاء.
kama amana sufaha.
Very good. Make sure here, because this is a hamza and you're putting a scorn on it, that you make a soft jerk sound when you end there. Okay? Amana sufaha.
Amana sufaha.
Very good. Well done. Excellent. So can you recite from here to the ta here?
Wa iza qila lahum aminu kama amanan nasu qalu anu'minu kama amana nasufaha.
Very excellent effort, mashallah. Really good effort. Well done. Just to highlight, just to remember that this is a thick sound. So whenever you see this off, try to make sure that you make your mouth into a rounded shape so that the sound really comes out well. Okay. Qila, qalu. Okay, so just work on that. Very good. Well done. We're going to now continue from here to the end. Do you want to have a go by yourself again?
Okay.
Shall I break it down? Let's break it down together first, and then you have a go by yourself afterwards. So we start from here. Ala innahum. Again, we have a nun guna here.
Ala innahum
Humus sufaha'u.
humus sufaha'u.
Walakin la ya'lamun.
Walakin la ya'lamun.
Really good effort. So make sure that you elongate this lam sound here. Walakin la ya'lamun.
Walakin la ya'lamun.
Good, well done. So this is an ayn, so you have to make sure that you make the ayn sound and it doesn't sound like you're joining to a hamza. Ya'lamun, ya'lamun.
Ya'lamun.
So start from here till the end.
Ala innahum humus sufaha'u walakin la ya'lamun.
Really good, G2601. It was a really long verse and you did it really well. Just keep practicing your letter sounds, making sure you're pronouncing them all really clearly, because mashallah, you know the sounds, you know where to elongate, and you're pronouncing things really well. So the next step for you is to focus on all your letters and make sure that you're really clearly pronouncing them, and that will just make your recitation even more beautiful. Okay, Jazakumullah, thank you so much for your help.
Jazakallah.
Allah Hafiz. We could have our next student, please.
Yeah, could we try G2584 again?
G2584. Assalamu alaikum. No, there's no response, I think. G2584. I think we would try somebody else.
Yeah. G2621.
G2621.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm very well. So if we start with Dawood and Tasmiyah, and then we'll begin, I'll recite and then you can recite afterwards.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Very nice. في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب أليم بما كانوا يكذبون.
في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله مرضا ولهم عذاب عليم بما كانوا يكسبون.
Really good recitation, mashallah. That was really nice. You elongated really well. You were clear in all of your letters. And you could hear every letter as you were pronouncing as well. So we're going to do it once more. We're going to break it down a little bit, and you're going to do the sections and then put it together again. في قلوبهم مرض.
في قلوبهم مرض
فزادهم الله مرضا.
فزادهم الله
مرضا.
مرضا.
Very good. You can hear there you were making your mouth into a rounder shape. That was really good. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ.
وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ.
Okay, so here we have this small meme. Okay, so we're not going to make a pause here, but we're going to continue into the next sound. Okay, so I'm going to start again. وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ أَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا.
وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ عَلِيمٌ بِمَا كَانُوا يَكْذِبُونَ.
Really, really good recitation. Well done, G2621. Your elongation was really good. You stopped at the correct, you made the correct sounds with your single strokes as well. Your mim gunna here was really good. That didn't need to be corrected either, mashallah. You corrected the sounds to make sure you're making your thick sounds here. So you're doing really well, mashallah. Just keep practicing. Make sure you're focusing on all of your rules. And what I would suggest is take a really, really deep breath when you're about to recite your verse, so that you can get as much in one breath as possible. And that will just make your recitation even better. Okay? Jazakumullah, thank you for your help. Allah Hafiz. Could we have our next student, please?
Yes, G2623.
G2623. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you?
Can I be called later?
Can you be called later?
Yeah. Is that
we're-
okay?
We're almost at the end of the class. We've only got a few more minutes.
Oh, can you call me in the end wall?
And we'll ask the discipline in charge.
Okay, thank you, office.
Okay, that's fine. If we could have G2746.
Assalamu alaikum, G2746.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you today?
I'm good.
Excellent. If you start with Dawood and Tasmiyah, then I will recite and then you can recite after me.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون. وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون. وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون. وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون. بال قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Really, really good effort. Well done. Really good. You stopped, you waited, you corrected yourself, and then you started again, which was really good because you recognized where you needed to make a thick sound here, which was really important. Well done. How many seconds does this need to be elongated for?
4 to 6.
3 to 5 seconds. Yeah, 3 to 5 seconds. So, qalu innama. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Once more from the beginning.
وإذا قيل لهم لا تفسدوا في الأرض قالوا إنما نحن مصلحون.
Really good. Your letter pronunciation was really good. I could hear where you were really trying to make your thick sounds. You were pronouncing when you were joining, you were pronouncing really well. Your elongation was really good. So the next point for you, because mashallah, you did really well, is just to make sure you take those really nice deep breaths in before you start so that you can recite as much of the verse as possible within one breath without having to make a pause. Okay? Jazakumullah, thank you so much for your help.
Can my brother read?
Betty, we don't have time now because we're about to end the class.
Okay.
Yeah, so inshallah next time. Okay. Mashallah, we did really well today. Everybody did really well. So as a reminder, sorry, I don't know what's going on here. Let me change this. Okay. As a reminder, in today's lesson, we did our rules of Waqf, rules 1 to 3, and the reference is Talimul-Quran, lesson 21, page 85. And remember, the rules were the fatha, a dhamma, and a kasra. If you're making a waqf on those, they will turn into a sukoon. Fatha, kasra, or a dhamma, they will turn into a sukoon when making a waqf, okay, making a stop. We looked at our practice text where we continue chapter 2, and we recognize that part number 8 of the Holy Quran begins in chapter 6, Surah Al-An'am, and the words, it begins with walau annana. Okay. And your homework for today is to keep practicing, apply all the rules you've learned so far in your daily tilawat. And today, please remember to apply the rules of waqf as well. Okay, so we are going to now finish with our final prayer. So if we could have a student for the final prayer, please.
Yes, G2621.
G2621.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So I am going to recite the dua and then you can recite after me with the translation, okay? Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'anil azim.
Allahumma arhamni bil-Qur'anil azim.
And the translation?
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the Quran, the Great.
وَجَعَلْهُ لِي إِمَامًا وَنُورًا وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً.
وَاجْعَلْهُ لِي إِمَامًا وَنُورًا وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً. And make it the leader, the light, the guardians, and the mercy.
Jazakumullah Sanal Jaza, and Jazakumullah to all our students and parents who took part in today's lesson. And inshallah, we will see you all again tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.